That's not true.
from satellite. It's not true.
No.
So what are you saying, that they're lying? So
They're
this
lying.
right here.
They're completely lying.
But if they're showing, using these techniques, things that we know that you discovered that absolutely exist, what makes you believe those scientists rather than these guys from Italy?
because the scientists are scientists.
Well, these are scientists as well.
They are not all the people work with me. The Scan Pyramid project, they said this is bullshit.
that are saying that they can see kilometers into the ground with this stuff.
That's not true. I did.
Are you sure?
I did.
Do you understand the technology?
No.
So the Sphinx, you know, this massive limestone guardian that's been sitting there for thousands of years. What blows my mind is that we've always assumed we knew what it was. But what if everything we've been told is just the surface? What if the real secret isn't what we can see, but what's been deliberately hidden underneath? For over 4,500 years, the Great Sphinx of Giza has gazed silently across the desert, the largest monolithic statue on Earth. Carved from a single ridge of limestone, its lion's body stretches 73 meters long, while its human face rises 20 meters into the burning Egyptian sky. Generations of pharaohs, conquerors, archaeologists, and tourists have stood before it, asking the same unanswered questions. Who built it? When? And most importantly, why? But in early 2024, an international team of researchers did something no one had ever attempted before. Using cutting-edge artificial intelligence and quantum ground-penetrating technology, they mapped every cubic meter beneath the Sphinx down to a depth of 40 meters. What the AI discovered didn't just challenge our understanding of ancient Egypt. It revealed something far more disturbing, something that powerful institutions have spent decades trying to keep buried. This isn't just archaeology anymore. This is a revelation that threatens to rewrite human history itself. The guardian of secrets. No monument on Earth carries more mystery than the Sphinx. It sits on the Giza Plateau, just a few hundred meters from the Great Pyramid, yet it feels older, more primal, as if it emerged from the bedrock itself before human civilization even existed. The body of a lion, the face of a king, or at least that's what we've been told. But when you stand before it in person, something feels wrong. The head is noticeably small, disproportionate to the massive body. Geologists have confirmed that the head has been recarved at least once, possibly more. The original face, if there ever was one, has been lost to time. Some researchers believe it wasn't a human face at all. Ancient texts describe it as a lion-headed deity, a representation of Sekhmet, the goddess of war and destruction. Others whisper darker theories that the face was deliberately destroyed and replaced to hide something the ancients feared. The official narrative says the Sphinx was built during the reign of Pharaoh Khafra, around 2500 BCE. But that story has cracks. Deep, troubling cracks. In the 1990s, geologist Dr. Robert Schoch examined the erosion patterns on the Sphinx's body and made a shocking claim. The weathering wasn't caused by wind and sand. It was caused by water, thousands of years of heavy rainfall. But Egypt's climate turned arid around 5000 BCE, which would push the Sphinx's construction back to at least 7000 BCE or earlier, long before any known civilization had the technology to carve such a monument. The Egyptian authorities dismissed Schoch's findings. They had to. Because if the Sphinx predates the pharaohs, then everything we know about the birth of civilization collapses. And if it's older than we thought, then who built it? And what were they trying to protect? For decades, rumors have circulated among Egyptologists, archaeologists, and insiders. Whispers of chambers beneath the Sphinx. Hidden halls filled with records from a lost civilization. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote of subterranean apartments beneath the monument. The Roman historian Pliny the Elder mentioned sealed passages leading to the tomb of the founder. Edgar Cayce, the famous American psychic, predicted in the 1930s that a hall of records would be discovered beneath the Sphinx before the end of the 20th century, containing the lost knowledge of Atlantis. Every few years, someone tries to look. In 1993, a team led by Dr. Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, used seismic equipment and found anomalies beneath the pores. The findings were never fully published. In 1996, a Japanese research group detected a large rectangular cavity under the left pore using electromagnetic sensors. They were denied further access. In 2009, archaeologist Bassam El-Shama claimed to have evidence of a tunnel network connecting the Sphinx to the Great Pyramid. He was silenced, his research confiscated. The pattern was clear. Every time someone got close, the doors were shut. Permits revoked, projects cancelled, evidence buried. The question wasn't whether something was down there. The question was, what are they hiding? That question finally got an answer in 2024, and the answer was worse than anyone imagined. The project that changed everything. It began quietly, as most dangerous discoveries do. In late 2023, a consortium of universities from MIT Oxford and Cairo secured approval for a non-invasive geological survey of the Giza Plateau. The official purpose was to study seismic stability and groundwater erosion, a mundane project that wouldn't raise suspicion. But the real objective was far more ambitious. The team had developed a new AI-driven scanning system that combined quantum radar, muon tomography, and deep learning neural networks. The technology could peer through solid rock with a resolution so precise it could detect objects the size of a human skull buried 30 meters underground. The system was called Anubis, the ancient neural underground biosignature identification system. The name was a dark joke. Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, the guardian of tombs. The team knew they were looking for something buried. They just didn't know what. The equipment was installed in a perimeter around the Sphinx under heavy security. Egyptian authorities assigned a military escort, not for protection, but for control. 2 officials from the Ministry of Antiquities were embedded with the research team, watching every screen, recording every conversation. The researchers were told in no uncertain terms, if they found anything significant, they were to report it immediately to the government before publishing. The scans began on a cold January morning. As the transmitters powered on, a low-frequency hum vibrated through the limestone bedrock. Tourists 100 meters away reported feeling a strange pressure in their chests. Some said they heard a distant rumbling, like thunder beneath the earth. The Sphinx itself seemed to darken, its weathered surface absorbing the sound. Inside the control tent, the monitors flickered to life. For the first hour, the data looked normal. Layers of limestone, pockets of sand, the expected geological structures. But as the AI processed the deeper readings, the lead researcher, Dr. Sarah Kensington, noticed something irregular. Beneath the Sphinx's front pores, at a depth of approximately 12 meters, the radar detected a void, a large rectangular chamber with perfectly smooth walls. "That's not natural," she said quietly. Her assistant leaned over the screen, frowning. "Could be a tomb. Maybe an older structure the Sphinx was built over." Dr. Kensington shook her head. "Look at the dimensions. It's too precise. And the walls, they're not just smooth. They're reflective. Something down there is bouncing the signal back stronger than the surrounding rock." One of the Egyptian officials stepped forward. "What does that mean?" "It means," Dr. Kensington said slowly, "that the walls are lined with something, metal or glass, or something we don't have a reference for." The official's face went pale. He pulled out his phone and walked outside. Within minutes, 2 more officials arrived, along with a man in a dark suit who didn't introduce himself. He watched the screens in silence, his expression unreadable. Then he made a call. 20 minutes later, the project was suspended. The chamber beneath the team was ordered to stop the scan and pack up the equipment. No explanation was given, but Dr. Kensington had already saved the data to an encrypted drive. That night, back at her hotel, she ran the AI analysis again, this time pushing the resolution to its maximum depth. What appeared on the screen made her blood run cold. The chamber beneath the Sphinx wasn't alone. The AI detected a network. A vast underground complex spreading out from the central chamber like the roots of a tree. Tunnels, corridors, and at least 9 additional rooms, some as large as aircraft hangars. The layout was deliberate, architectural, impossibly advanced for any known ancient civilization, but that wasn't the worst part. The AI's pattern recognition system, trained on millions of geological formations, flagged something it couldn't explain. Inside one of the deeper chambers, approximately 27 meters below the surface, the density readings showed objects. Dozens of them, arranged in rows. The AI compared the shapes to its database of known artifacts, geological formations, and modern structures. The closest match it found was unsettling. The objects resembled sarcophagi, stone coffins, but the size was wrong. Each one was nearly 3 meters long, far larger than any human burial. Dr. Kensington ran the scan again, thinking it was an error. The results were identical. She zoomed in on one of the objects. The AI highlighted faint engravings on the surface, symbols that didn't match any known hieroglyphic system. When she ran the symbols through a linguistic analysis program, the AI detected patterns similar to Sumerian cuneiform, Proto-Elamite script, and an undeciphered writing system found in the Indus Valley. Languages separated by thousands of kilometers and centuries of time, all in one place. She opened the raw spectral data from the chamber. The walls weren't just reflective. They emitted a faint electromagnetic signature, a low-frequency pulse that cycled every 7.3 seconds. The AI couldn't explain it. Neither could the geophysicists she consulted. The signal was artificial. There was no natural geological process that could produce it. And then she noticed something that made her hands shake. The deepest chamber, the largest one, sat directly beneath the Sphinx's head, and inside it, the AI detected something massive. A single object, 8 meters tall, 4 meters wide, standing upright in the center of the room. The density was off the charts, far denser than limestone or granite. When she ran a material analysis, the AI suggested possibilities: basalt, meteoric iron, or something crystalline. But the shape was unmistakable. It was humanoid. A figure standing in the darkness, waiting. The cover-up begins. Dr. Kensington tried to contact her colleagues the next morning. None of them answered. When she arrived at the site, the equipment was gone. The tent was empty. The military escort told her the project had been indefinitely postponed due to structural concerns. She asked to speak to the lead Egyptian official. He had been reassigned. She returned to her hotel to find 2 men waiting in the lobby. They didn't identify themselves, but their accents were American. They told her the data she had collected was classified under international heritage protection laws. They asked her to surrender the encrypted drive. She refused. They didn't insist. They simply smiled and left. That night, her laptop was stolen from her room. The hotel's security cameras mysteriously malfunctioned. When she checked her cloud backups, the files were corrupted. Every single one. Except for one fragment she had emailed to herself earlier. A low-resolution image of the humanoid figure in the deepest chamber. She leaked it anonymously to an archaeological forum. Within hours, it went viral. Within days, it was scrubbed from the internet. Fact-checkers labeled it a hoax. Official statements from the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities denied any recent scanning projects. Dr. Kensington was quietly removed from her university position. No charges, no scandal, just gone. But the truth doesn't disappear so easily. Other researchers began digging into historical records, looking for clues about what might be beneath the Sphinx. What they found was a pattern of suppression stretching back over a century. What the ancients knew. In 1935, American clairvoyant Edgar Cayce described a hall of records beneath the Sphinx, containing the history of Atlantis and advanced technologies from a civilization that existed over 10,000 years ago. Most dismissed it as fantasy. But Cayce also accurately predicted the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls and provided medical diagnoses that baffled doctors. His followers believed the Hall of Records would be opened before the year 2000. It never was. Or perhaps it was, and we were never told. In ancient Arab texts, the Sphinx is called Abu al-Hol, the father of terror. Medieval historians wrote that the Caliph al-Ma'mun, the same man who broke into the Great Pyramid in 820 CE, also ordered excavations beneath the Sphinx. His workers reportedly found a descending passage filled with bats and scorpions that led to a chamber of iron doors. They sealed it and never returned. The location of the entrance was lost. Greek and Roman writers referred to the Sphinx as the guardian of the threshold, a monument built to protect something that should never be disturbed. The historian Diodorus Siculus wrote that Egyptian priests told him the Sphinx was a tomb of a king whose name must not be spoken. He didn't record the name. Perhaps he was warned not to. Even modern insiders have hinted at the truth. In a 1997 interview, Dr. Zahi Hawass admitted off-camera that there are things beneath the Sphinx that the world is not ready to know. When pressed, he refused to elaborate. In 2010, a leaked email from a UNESCO official mentioned culturally destabilizing discoveries at Giza that required indefinite classification. The email was never authenticated, but it was never denied either. The evidence is there, scattered across centuries, hidden in footnotes and whispered in academic circles. The Sphinx is guarding something, and someone, somewhere, has known about it for a very long time. The figure in the dark. Let's go back to what the AI found. The humanoid figure in the deepest chamber, 8 meters tall, 4 meters wide, standing upright. If the data is accurate, and multiple independent researchers believe it is, then we're forced to ask an uncomfortable question. What is it? The optimistic interpretation is that it's a statue, an ancient monument, perhaps a representation of a god or king buried for protection. But if that's true, why is it hidden so deep? Why is the chamber sealed, and why does it emit an electromagnetic pulse? The darker interpretation is that it's not a statue, it's a container, a sarcophagus. And if the other stone coffins in the surrounding chambers are 3 meters long, meant for beings larger than humans, then what was this 8-meter figure meant to hold? Ancient texts from around the world speak of giants. The Bible mentions the Nephilim, mighty men of old, men of renown. The Book of Enoch describes fallen angels who mated with human women, producing offspring of immense size and power. Sumerian texts speak of the Anunnaki, godlike beings who came from the sky and ruled over early humanity. Egyptian mythology describes the first time, or Zep-Tepi, an era when gods walked the earth and built the first temples. For centuries, these were dismissed as myths, but archaeology keeps finding things that don't fit. Megalithic structures built with precision we can't replicate. Tool marks on granite that require hardened steel. Astronomical alignments that suggest knowledge of precession, a 26,000-year cycle that wasn't officially discovered until the 19th century. What if the Sphinx wasn't built by the ancient Egyptians? What if it was already there when they arrived, a relic from a much older world? And what if it was built as a warning? A marker to tell future generations, do not dig here, do not open what lies below. Why it's worse than expected. Here's what makes this discovery truly disturbing. It's not just what's down there. It's the fact that someone has been actively preventing us from finding out, governments, institutions, organizations with resources and reach. They've shut down projects, seized data, discredited researchers, and scrubbed evidence from the internet. Why? The official explanation would be preservation of cultural heritage or preventing looting. But that doesn't explain the speed and coordination of the response. It doesn't explain why Dr. Kensington's data was targeted so aggressively. It doesn't explain why the Sphinx has been off limits to independent researchers for decades. There are 3 possibilities, each more unsettling than the last. Possibility 1. They don't know what's down there, and they're afraid to find out. Perhaps previous excavations uncovered something that couldn't be explained, something that raised questions they didn't want to answer. So they sealed it and decided ignorance was safer than truth. Possibility 2. They know exactly what's down there, and they're protecting it. Perhaps the chamber contains records, technologies, or artifacts from a pre-flood civilization. Information that would destabilize religions, rewrite history books, and undermine the power structures built on our current understanding of the past. Possibility 3. They know what's down there, and they're protecting us from it. Perhaps the ancients sealed that chamber for a reason. Perhaps the electromagnetic pulse isn't a power source. It's a containment field, and perhaps the 8-meter figure isn't waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to wake up. The Sphinx's final warning. There's an inscription between the paws of the Sphinx, placed there by Pharaoh Thutmose IV around 1400 BCE. It describes a dream in which the Sphinx spoke to him, promising kingship in exchange for clearing away the sand that buried it. The inscription ends with a warning, partially eroded, but still readable. Disturb not what lies beneath, for the guardian watches still. For centuries, Egyptologists assumed it was poetic language, a religious flourish, but what if it was literal? What if the Sphinx isn't just a monument? What if it's still active, still guarding, still watching? The AI detected an electromagnetic pulse, a signal cycling every 7.3 seconds. Artificial, deliberate, ongoing. That means something down there is still powered, still functioning, after thousands of years. What kind of technology survives that long? What kind of energy source doesn't degrade? And if it's still active, what is it doing? Dr. Kensington's leaked image showed the humanoid figure standing upright. Not lying down, not in repose, standing, as if ready, as if waiting for a signal. And now, thanks to modern technology, we've just sent thousands of radar pulses, electromagnetic waves, and quantum particles directly into that chamber. We've scanned it, probed it, woken it up. What if the Sphinx wasn't hiding a treasure? What if it was hiding a threat? And what if, after 10,000 years of silence, we've just made the worst mistake in human history? Conclusion: the truth is still buried. As of now, the site remains closed. No further scans have been authorized. Dr. Kensington has disappeared from public life. The data is gone. The story has been buried, just like the chamber beneath the Sphinx. But the questions remain, and they won't go away. Because once you know something is down there, once you've seen the evidence, you can't unsee it. Somewhere in the desert, beneath the oldest monument on Earth, there is a chamber. And inside that chamber, something is waiting. The ancients built the Sphinx for a reason. They carved it from a single ridge of stone, gave it the body of a lion and the face of a king, and placed it at the edge of the plateau, staring into the rising sun. They buried secrets beneath it and warned us not to dig. We didn't listen, and now, with the power of artificial intelligence, we've looked where we were never meant to look. The Sphinx has kept its secret for over 4,000 years. But secrets don't last forever, and some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. The discovery has been made. The AI has seen what lies beneath. And whether we're ready or not, the truth is coming. The only question now is, can we handle it? Or will we wish, like the ancients before us, that we had left the Sphinx alone? The Guardian watches still, and now, so do we.